This area around me is a natural floodplain filled with water as rivers burst their banks and the rain kept falling, forced people to abandon their homes. Some fought to save their animals and protect their farms. 6 months later, the cleanup is still happening. I want to bring in our Baneet Braich now, who, like me, is also from the city of Abbotsford. And Baneet, you've been speaking with people who are still displaced. You've been talking to them, since the floods actually took place 6 months ago. But what have they been telling you recently?
Well, Anita, some are still gutting and repairing their homes. They're really building back. For others, it's nearly impossible to find new homes because rents are expensive, prices are high. And look, the water's gone, but barns are still battered. There's debris. Homes still sit empty. And while some have made it home, others are still displaced and they're wondering what's next.
This was once home for Katrina Page. Her home near Hope, a place she knew as paradise, now unrecognizable.
It's surreal. It's still kind of surreal. It's a lot.
Her mortgage-free home was nestled next to the Coquihalla River, but in November, water tore through the property. Page says she didn't qualify for flood insurance because the house was on a floodplain. Disaster financial assistance has been offered to cover some uninsurable losses, and while she's grateful,
they're offering us a pittance really of what we lost.
Page is among 1,100 households still displaced from their homes in BC. Emergency Management BC says there's a lot of work that still needs to be done, and they're working on recovery plans for communities to get funding quickly. Page is currently living in a trailer with her husband, and they're hoping for a buyout. Without it,
there's no way we can afford to stay here, so I don't know where we're going to end up. I need a home. I can't sleep.
For some, finding a new affordable home seems out of reach due to high rents. CBC has agreed to withhold the identity of 2 Abbotsford flood victims due to their concerns about safety and how speaking out could hurt their chances of finding new rentals.
It's a lot of renters that are the ones left behind. Really tired and overwhelmed with and disappointed in how hard it is just to get a place to live.
Since the flood, one is still in a hotel. The other is in a trailer, pregnant, and also hoping for a long-term affordable home.
I want 4 walls and, I don't want to wake up in the morning and have to worry about where I'm going to lay my head.
Others, like John Youngama, are back on their property, but the house is still under repair.
I mean, it was a complete gut. We had to gut the entire house, right, all the way up to the ceiling.
He and his wife currently live in a trailer after months of being in hotels. And last November, his son and dog were rescued after waiting hours in as much as 8 feet of water. But even as homes rebuild, John hopes more is done to protect the community.
We can't go through this again. Like, this is just unbelievable.
Clearly, Baneet, the devastation is still there. I mean, it's horrible. I personally know people who are still out of their homes as well. And you mentioned more than 1,150 people across the province are still displaced. And that's why community support is so vital, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of grief. There's a lot of pain. It's not easy. And donations are still needed, whether that's mental health support, food, furniture. But I'll have more on that later on in the show.